there, everybody. You know what I'm not into? Spy movies.
Yeah, spy movies, womanizing men that drive fast cars, have cool gadgets, all while dressed in a nice suit. The absolute epitome of debonair and shave.
Sorry, that was supposed to be suave. Damn typos.
But I didn't find them fascinating throughout my life. I am a small-minded man that enjoys things like explosions, hand-to-hand combat, and a neat gadget every now and then.
What the hell does this thing do?
I guess I thought that James Bond movies took themselves way too seriously, and I thought, this shit needs to be funny. Well, yes, things like Get Smart in 1967's Casino Royale were early parodies of the James Bond franchise. There is one franchise, I think, that took the 007 parody to another level. Released in 1997, Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery, was the brainchild of SNL alum Mike Myers, spoofing James Bond movies and taking them to the extreme. Myers took elements and even inspiration from parody movies like Casino Royale, especially from the hit Burt Bacharach and Dusty Springfield song, The Look of Love, where the line, "Where have all the swingers gone?" created the character of Austin Powers. Austin, being a counterpart to the debonair James Bond, is a 1960s British stereotype with bad teeth, a hairy body, and a lack of subtlety. Yet just like Bond, he is still a great spy, knows how to fight bad guys, has an arch nemesis in Dr. Evil, who's just a combination of many different Bond villains, and of course, is a massive ladies' man, to the point where they scream and chase after him like he's a member of the Beatles. Like I said before, lots of the comedy is about taking Bond norms and moving them to the extreme. The Bond ladies, let's face it, have some silly names in their day. Pussy Galore, Honey Rider. Powers has Ivana Humpalot and Halata Vagina.
I guess having her be from Sit on Your Faces stand was a little too on the nose, huh? Huh?
I actually wanted to discuss these movies today because, well, I grew up with them. Which is weird because they weren't the most kid-friendly movies. Over-the-top sexuality and innuendos ran rampant throughout all three of these movies. Yet for some reason, I remember going to my local elementary school book fair and seeing a book about Austin Powers. I can't seem to find the book anywhere online, but I remember it came out right before Goldmember did, and it had interviews with the cast, asking questions that children would normally wonder, like asking Vern Troyer when he got his first kiss, and I remember it just saying, second grade at recess, or something simple like that.
And who would have thought that girl would end up being with the guy that pissed on the floor on The Surreal Life? Rest in peace, my guy.
That book also had sneak peeks and trivia about the third movie being released soon, which some weren't even correct. Them saying that Heather Graham's character was killed off and it would be explained in the film, which it never did. Plus, they would have Fat Bastard's name in the book as just Fat B. Why was this book around? If anyone knows the book I'm talking about, please let me know. I swear I'm not making it up.
So whether or not my elementary school did it dumb and wasn't supposed to have that book, or the studio actually did think this was a fine franchise to market to kids, either way, I watched these growing up and loved them for what they were on the surface. Mike Myers acting silly. But if you really take a deeper look at what makes these films popular, some of it is brilliant, while other parts, let's discuss.
Starting with the first movie, a good part of the comedy arrives in the form of culture shock. Austin gets frozen to stop Dr. Evil in the future, so a free-loving walking stereotype wakes up in the 90s where everything is different. Let the funnies ensue. Austin, whose normal instincts worked for him in the past, don't work for him now, and he has to learn how people function in a modern, more civilized society. Taking care of your teeth, grooming, and using sexual protection.
The horror!
He eventually gets modernized by watching TV, videotapes, and seeing what he missed after all those years skipped. It's actually great character development that sticks in the later movies. Come to the second movie, which then throws things in for a loop. Time travel. Dr. Evil going to the past to steal Austin's mojo, or
his pecker.
Which that part always weirded me out. Fat Bastard steals Austin's mojo by drilling into the ice he was frozen in, but it shows in this red-filled tube. Did he take the blood from his dick? Does that mean he's not able to get it up now? I never understood how that worked. Oh, and apparently you drink it and it makes you a horn dog. Many consider The Spy Who Shagged Me a fantastic sequel, and I think it's just Alright, it is a little bit like Airplane the sequel. Lots of the jokes are reused, just in slightly different scenarios. And this was when they used a lot more of Myers saying juvenile things for longer than necessary for a laugh, as opposed to more of the physical and witty comedy used in the first. Probably a big reason why the studio thought it could cater to a younger demographic. Now, the third movie is such a tough one to pin down because where do you go from here? The franchise is already a huge success. They get big name stars making guest appearances, and it seems like they took the comedic bits from The Spy Who Shagged Me and turned them to 11. The thing with Goldmember is that it no longer feels like a spy movie. It's a full-fledged comedy that is no longer a parody of James Bond. Besides the name Goldmember, I can barely think of any instances of how this movie is making fun of Bond films, which I'm actually okay with. The spy parody movie was the first one, and a little bit of the second film. This third movie makes Austin kind of his own thing. He's not just a Bond parody, he's his own character now, which honestly was a great direction the franchise went. What started off as poking fun of secret agent movies became a full-fledged character, with his own catchphrases, traits, and even given a backstory, all while keeping with lots of the same comedy tropes that got the franchise popular in the first place. I know many can't stand Goldmember due to the same recycled jokes, and many consider it went off the path it originally was, but I definitely think it was a benefit. Do I think there should be a fourth movie? Well, I wouldn't be opposed to it, but the ending with the good guy and the bad guy being siblings and everyone more or less having an ending, I'm fine with it being left alone. While I may not have cared for spy movies, Austin Powers is not only one of the best parodies of a franchise, but some of the best comedy films out there. Having a walking 60s British stereotype going around modern day America, that's a premise in itself, let alone having him be a secret agent. The use of visual gags, sexual entendres, and fourth wall breaking, while sometimes overbearing, adds great layers to the comedy. But there's also an amount of heart to it. Austin learning that he's not in the same world that he once lived in, and he has to adapt for most of the things he did, but still keeps a lot of his personality. Learning to actually love, with monogamy, and even later his relationship with his father had certain points that were pretty sincere. I do encourage any comedy fan to give these movies a watch. There is a reason these made Mike Myers a household name. Well, besides this guy. A groovy trilogy in my book. Yeah, baby, yeah!
Thank you guys so much for watching, and tell me, are you a big fan of spy movies, or are you a fan of Austin Powers movies? Let me know in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, or enemies, I guess, and subscribe to my channel for more nostalgia lookbacks, movie reviews, and anything else I can come up with. Thanks, everybody!